shall be revoked. Now, he is entitled to a pre-sentence investigation report. Is that correct? Okay, then I will be sure to order one.
On this day, July 28th, 2025, a courthouse in Florida will set an example on national television, a message to the streets of America that there is no honor amongst thieves. But the defendant isn't charged with stealing. He's charged with taking lives, man. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090J, and I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on Ksoo and his own father taking the stand against him. The story begins in 2024 when a rap rivalry seemingly ended with the death of Julio Filio, who was assassinated in Tampa. However, this wasn't the only case that would put Ksoo's name on the map for all the wrong reasons. Ksoo, whose real name is Abdul Robinson, has made a name within Jacksonville's drill scene as a member of ATK with his close association with Young and Ace. But little did anyone know that this 26-year-old rapper was facing charges of first-degree murder for the broad-day shooting of Charles Lil Buck McCormick. The incident occurred in June 2024 when Lil Buck, who had just left a job interview, was ambushed in a plaza. A witness at the trial described seeing Lil Buck lifeless after the shooting, stating that he saw all the way to him and what he saw was unimaginable. His leg was separated, and half of his face was gone. The investigation revealed that forensic video analysis and 3D laser modeling experts were used to study the shooter's height, weight, and build. The police compared these dimensions to Ksoo's, but they couldn't definitively determine if it was him or not. However, they excluded two other suspects due to their body type not matching the shooter. Additional evidence against Ksoo included his fingerprint left on a rifle found in a crashed vehicle and his hair on a t-shirt. But these weren't the only surprises that awaited the court. Dominique Barnes, aka Butter, was the driver during the murder and admitted his participation in the killing to save himself. Butter agreed to testify against Ksoo in exchange for a 20-year prison deal for 2 murders. This wasn't just any betrayal. It was a stab in the back by someone who claimed to be a friend. But, as we would later find out, this was only the beginning of the drama that unfolded in court. 52-year-old Abdul Robinson Sr, also known amongst the streets of Jacksonville as Blue, is none other than Ksoo's father. Blue would also be arrested and charged with accessory after the fact after receiving a call, driving to the shooting scene, and helping Butter and another man named ATK Scotty escape. Facing up to 60 years in prison, Blue agreed to a plea deal reducing his potential sentence to no more than 20 years, while agreeing to testify against his own son.
The murder trial of Jacksonville rapper Hakeem Ksoo Robinson and his cousin Leroy Whitaker. It's one step closer to going to the jury. Closing arguments began this afternoon. Both men are charged in the 2020 shooting death of 23-year-old Charles Lil Buck McCormick Jr. Prosecutors say the motive involved a diss track McCormick created. News4 Jax reporter Brianna Brownlee has been following this trial from the beginning. She's joining us now live outside the courthouse with the latest on this.
Yes, it was a day full of disruptions in the courtroom.
The state would agree to recommend a sentence of only 76 months, or just over 6 years. This wasn't the first time that Blue's involvement was exposed. 2 years prior, video of his police interrogation dropped where he could be seen naming his son as the shooter. On July 28th, Blue took the stand facing his own son and said something that would leave everyone speechless. Sitting here today, you realize that you are testifying against not only co-defendants, but family members. Yes. Why are you doing that? I got some health issues. I gotta take care of myself. As the trial continues, it's clear that this is a case that will have far-reaching consequences for those involved. The question on everyone's mind is, how could a father turn against his own son like this? Is it truly about saving himself, or is there more to the story? We'll continue to follow this case and bring you updates as they become available. But for now, let's sit back and think about what we've learned so far. A young rapper with a promising career is facing charges of murder, and his own father is testifying against him in exchange for a reduced sentence. What do you think? Can a family member turn against their own flesh and blood like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. And as always, stay true to yourself and keep it real. We're back with a deep dive into the case of Ksoo, a young rapper facing charges of murder and his father's shocking testimony against him. As we explored in our previous segment, a family member turning against their own flesh and blood is a complex issue that raises many questions about loyalty, love, and redemption. Let's take a closer look at what triggered this dramatic turn of events. For Ksoo's dad, it all started when he received a life-changing diagnosis. His kidneys were failing rapidly. This revelation not only affected his health, but also made him realize the preciousness of time with loved ones. He told us about the heart-wrenching moments when his children asked him to attend their school events and spend quality time with them. But due to his health issues and being incarcerated for most of it, he's been unable to. My 8-year-old daughter keeps asking me when I'm going to come take her to the daddy-daughter dance. Ksoo's dad shared with us. Every year she asks, and every year I have to let her down. He also spoke about his 6-year-old son wanting him to attend football games and teach him how to play baseball. But due to his health conditions and being in prison, he's missed out on these precious moments. This emotional toll took a heavy hit when Ksoo's dad was approached with the opportunity to testify against his own son in exchange for a reduced sentence. It was not an easy decision for him. As we spoke with Ksoo
today from a 2-hour delay because of witnesses and technical issues from the court causing audio issues during testimony as well as closing arguments. And in a surprising twist, someone from the Robinson family was banned from the courtroom because they were live streaming testimony. However, despite all this, closing arguments did happen, but this was after Hakeem Robinson's older sister took the stand to defend her baby brother.
Hell no.
This was the immediate reaction from Hakeem Robinson's older sister when she first saw the photo of
Ksoo's dad about this experience. It became clear that it wasn't just about testifying, but also about facing the harsh reality of possibly losing time with his family due to his health issues. I really don't have no more relationship with my family, he admitted. If part of your family completely cut you out, yeah, that's what happened. The hardest decision he had to make was choosing between standing by his son or testifying against him for a chance at freedom and possibly some time with his loved ones. The complexity of this situation is further highlighted when we look at Ksoo's case. He's not only charged with the murder of Charles McCormick, but also linked to another brutal killing, that of 16-year-old Lil Buck, a close friend to Julio Fulio. This isn't just about one bad decision. It's about a pattern of violence and disrespect for life that raises serious questions about accountability. As we explored in our previous segments, Ksoo's dad's testimony has significantly impacted the case against his son. By confirming on tape what was previously only speculation, that Ksoo indeed shot Charles McCormick, he's provided irrefutable evidence against his own child. The weight of this decision is not lost on anyone involved. Ksoo faces a grim reality, with his future looking bleaker by the day. He's also facing another murder charge, and now, thanks to his dad's testimony, it seems increasingly unlikely that he'll beat these charges. The punishment for snitching varies from case to case, but in this instance, Ksoo's dad could face up to 20 years behind bars. However, given the time already served, he might be eligible for parole in as little as a year. This case has raised questions about loyalty and where lines are drawn between family and justice. While some might view Ksoo's dad as a snitch or a traitor for testifying against his son, others might see him as a desperate man who made the hardest decision of his life to ensure he doesn't lose everything that truly matters. As we continue to follow this case, one thing is clear: justice can be blind, but it can also be merciless. The question remains, will Ksoo's dad find redemption in testifying against his son? Or will it be a bittersweet victory at the expense of his own family? Ksoo's life hangs precariously in the balance as he faces yet another murder charge. The gravity of his situation has become increasingly clear with each passing day, a stark reminder that the justice system can be merciless. For Ksoo's father, Blue, the decision to testify against his son is not just about loyalty or betrayal. It's about survival. As Blue navigated the complex web of gang life in Jacksonville, he inadvertently instilled in Ksoo a blueprint for success or failure. depending on one's perspective.
Alleged gunman in the 2020 killing of Charles McCormick, and was questioned if it was her younger brother. In court Wednesday, even now, years later, with her brother on trial accused of that murder, she testified there's no way that's him.
He was approximately 5'8" to 5'10", black male.
Tim Graham is now a retired JSO officer, but 5 years ago, on the day of the shooting, he was one of the officers chasing the shooter and gave the description of 5'8" and a bit athletic.
Did you see this person jump a couple of fences?
Absolutely.
He was able to evade Officer Prater?
And me.
Robinson's sister didn't hold back when describing her brother, painting a different
The streets can be unforgiving, and when you're in the midst of them, making tough choices is a part of the game. But what happens when those choices land you back behind bars? For Blue, it's been a journey marked by both pride and regret. Growing up, Ksoo had a name for himself in Jacksonville, a reputation forged through his involvement with local gangs. His father, Blue, wasn't just a participant. He was an influencer, someone who introduced his son to the world of street politics at a young age. And while Ksoo's rise through the ranks was meteoric, it came with a steep price, one that now threatens to dismantle everything he has built. On the surface, this case seems straightforward. A father testifies against his son in exchange for lighter penalties or a chance at parole. But dig deeper, and you'll find layers of complexity that speak to the very nature of loyalty and justice. Ksoo's father is not just a snitch. He's a man who made a choice, however difficult it may have been, to protect himself from the system that could easily consume him. In many ways, this story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of our actions. We can't choose our circumstances, but we can decide how we respond to them. For Ksoo's family, the choices they've made will forever shape their future. The question now is whether there's still time for redemption or if it's too late. For those who see Blue as a traitor, his decision to testify against his son may be unforgivable. But for others, he might be seen as a desperate man trying to save himself from the very system that could take everything away. And in a world where loyalty can often be a luxury we can't afford, perhaps it's not about judging Blue or Ksoo. Maybe it's about understanding the choices they made. In the streets of America, violence and betrayal are as common as the sun rising each morning. But it's how we respond to these acts that truly defines us. In this case, justice may be blind, but it can also be merciless. A reminder that in the game of survival, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for yourself or those you love. For Ksoo, the consequences of his actions are clear. He faces another murder charge and is likely to face severe punishment. His father's decision to testify has sealed his fate, but is it fair? Or is this simply the outcome of a system that doesn't always understand the complexities of loyalty or justice? As we delve deeper into this case, one thing becomes increasingly apparent. The lines between right and wrong are often blurred. And when we're forced to make choices under duress, can we truly say what's right anymore? For Ksoo, Blue, and everyone involved in this drama, the stakes are high, and the consequences of their actions will forever shape the course of their lives. For those who follow the streets of Jacksonville,
he's around 6'3".
And keep in mind, shooter doesn't stop, say measure me. He's running and gunning.
The state argued that size descriptions may have varied because the shooter was in motion and it was a chaotic scene. During closing arguments, the state addressed the height and weight concerns, saying some witnesses didn't give the exact measurements because it was a quick, intense situation, adding that Robinson may have gained weight since the
closely. There's a grim reality that sets in when you witness firsthand the chaos that unfolds. You see kids growing up with images of gang life as their blueprint for success. They're raised by parents like Blue, who project an image of toughness and strength, but often lack the substance to back it up. Ksoo is just one example of this phenomenon. A product of his environment, he grew up amidst a backdrop of violence and crime. And when you look at his music, his videos, or even the way he lives his life, it's clear that he was influenced by those around him, for better or worse. In this case, where does loyalty end? And what does justice demand? For Ksoo's family, there are no easy answers. The consequences of their choices will forever shape their future. But is there still a chance for redemption? Or has the die already been cast? As we continue to follow this story, one thing becomes clear. In the world of gangs and street politics, loyalty is often tested like never before. But what happens when those very same people are forced to confront the consequences of their actions? For Ksoo's family, it's a stark reminder that justice can be blind but also merciless. In the streets of America, violence and betrayal are an unfortunate reality. But how we respond to these acts is what truly defines us as individuals and as a society. This case may seem straightforward on the surface, but dig deeper, and you'll find layers of complexity that speak to the very nature of loyalty and justice. The question remains, will Ksoo's father find redemption in testifying against his son, or will it be a bittersweet victory at the expense of his own family? As we delve deeper into this case, one thing becomes increasingly apparent. The lines between right and wrong are often blurred, and when we're forced to make choices under duress, can we truly say what's right anymore? In this complex web of loyalty, betrayal, and justice, there are no easy answers. But as we continue to follow this story, one thing is clear. In the game of survival, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for yourself or those you love. In a world where loyalty is often tested like never before, Ksoo's family has been forced to confront the consequences of their actions. The question remains, will his father find redemption in testifying against him, or will it be a bittersweet victory at the expense of his own family? As we stand at the precipice of justice, one thing is clear. In this complex web of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption, there are no easy answers. The die has been cast, but for Ksoo's family, the true test lies ahead. Can they find a way to heal from the wounds of their choices, or will the merciless hand of justice forever alter the course of their lives?
July 28th, 2025. A courthouse within the state of Florida would set an example on national television, a message to the streets of America that there is no honor amongst thieves. But the defendant isn't charged with stealing, he's charged with taking lives. Man, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090J, man. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be speaking on Ksoo and his own father taking the stand against him.